Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the last installment of the Hawk Tank Workshop Series for 2025. Tonight, we're going to be talking about presenting your business ideas. First of all, I want to say sorry for all the technical difficulties we've been having. San Juan College, hopefully, you are now online. Professor Ehop, if you want to just text me any questions you all have in Farmington, I have my phone out. I'm not really sure if our chat box is working or not, but please, anyone from San Juan College, shoot me a text. And Professor Ehop has my number. Super cool. And thanks for coming. And first and I guess second of all, congratulations to y'all for making it to the finals. You're one step closer for college track. You're one step closer to 10 grand. Recent alumni track, you're one step closer to 5 grand. And our high school participants, you're one step closer to not only cash, but also for first place, a team of three, $24,000 in scholarships. Not too bad. So what do we want to talk about tonight? We want to talk about a number of things. And I just want to start with this quote. I love this quote. It definitely resonates with me. And this is going to be really kind of a focal point of our conversation tonight. And I hope this really resonates with you. So here's the quote: we should just stop calling these things presentations altogether. Everyone gets hung up on that word. Wouldn't it be easier to just call them conversations? Because that's really what they are. And when we think about talking with the Hawk Tank judges, that's really what you should be doing. First and foremost, you know more about your business idea than the judges do. Okay? They are here to learn from you. We will share all the business plans ahead of time with the judges. So they will have read them. They will have seen your 1-minute videos. And so they'll be really ready for your presentations as well as for that Q&A session. And so let's talk about that. So first of all, I'd like to start about and just kind of go over exactly what the expectations are. I know we've gone over this a number of times, but I want to show you the rubric once again. I want to show you a presentation rubric that the judges also have. I would like to talk about what my recommendations are that you should include in your presentation. Then we'll end with some just general recommendations on presenting, and then any questions you all might have. And once again, San Juan College, please have your professor text me directly, and we'll answer those questions. And of course, you all know my email address, so please don't hesitate to email me at any time with any questions. So let's talk about some important dates. We're actually missing one up here. The one that's missing up there is that everyone has been given a little extra time if you want to update your business plan, any of your financials, heck, even your 1-minute video. You can do that. However, that needs to be submitted by Monday at 11:59 p.m. Anything submitted after that time, we will not accept, and that will have to use your original submission. So please keep that in mind. There's no pressure to actually resubmit anything, but we'd like to give you that opportunity based on the feedback and the scoring of your first round. And so we'd like to make that happen. So what are some important dates coming up besides that one? The first one is April 18th. That is the Friday before your all's final presentations. This is your time to walk through your presentation room. This is the time to check the tech. Make sure your slides look good, because you will not have that time on your final presentation day. If slides aren't properly aligned, we will go with what you have, because as you'll see, we only get 15 minutes for presentation and 5 minutes for Q&A. You do not have to use the whole time. Use as much time as you want, but every presentation will have 20 minutes for presenting and Q&A. For April 19th, that's the big day. On April 19th, that should be 2025. I will correct that. That's when we're going to have the business plan competition presentations. will start around 8:30 a.m. There'll be different timings, so please keep a lookout for emails and communication from our Hawk Tank operations team. They will be in touch with you on how you can submit your updated business plan. They'll be in touch with you with the exact room that you'll be in for presenting, as well as the exact start time for those presentations. I'm actually going to make a little correction in here live. We want this to actually be approximately 5:30 p.m. Makes a little more sense. And I'll say room open. And then we have on the 19th, there we go. I like that a lot better. Let some head nods in the room. Okay. And so how does this play out? April 19th, the big day. So presentations start at 8:30. You could have a presentation time from 8:30 to probably around 11:30. You'll be expected to show up 30 minutes before your presentation time. But once again, be on the lookout for an email from the Hawk Tank operations team. Once you present for the alumni track, for the high school track, you're done. You've already hopefully received your invitation, but we'd like you to come back for the Hawk Tank Gala and the award ceremony. This is an awesome event put on by our event management class, super high end, top notch, and that'll start around approximately 5:30. Okay. So those are any questions in here, y'all? Yes, Aaron? Yes. Sean?
April 18th.
Yep.
It's 5:30, and we just come to the room and.
Yeah. So typically, how that works. So the question in house by Sean was, "Hey, what does it kind of look like that night?" So typically, what that looks like that night is we will have the presentation room that you'll be presenting on for the final presentations. We'll have that room open for about an hour, 2 hour block. Okay, so it can be from 5 to 7, 5:30 to 7. The room is just open. Your slides should be already loaded on the computer. I shouldn't say should be, they will be. Okay? And so what you can do is you can open up your slides. Make sure they look fine. Make sure you understand how to use the little controller. Maybe you have a video. Make sure the video works seamlessly, right? That's what that's all about. Okay? Once again, this is not mandatory this year. We're in the works of actually making it mandatory for future competitions, but because we didn't inform you early on, we're not making that mandatory this year. But I promise you, I highly recommend it. And I'll give you a reason why. We have had participants whose slides did not load properly. And so guess what they had to do? Right? One instance, they had to go just without slides. The other instance was they spent 5 to 10 minutes of their time getting their slides to work, and they were cut off in 5 minutes for Q&A. Okay? It had a big detrimental impact on their ability to convey to the judges all their awesome work. Okay, so that's what the 18th is all about. Anything else? Please.
Where's the location? Like, where are we presenting at?
Oh, that's a great question. The question is where are we presenting at? So what we've done this year is something a little new. Okay, the event management class really wanted to create this environment where, as participants, as judges, as community, you kind of almost like walk into this like Hawk Tank area. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use the bottom floor of the Education Business Hall. And I don't know if anyone that's if you've been in those classrooms, it has that stadium seating, and it's almost like an MBA class. It's really a cool classroom. And what we're going to do is we're going to use all of those rooms. And so we'll have a judge's room. We're going to have a place for participants to kind of meet and maybe get a snack, almost like your green room, right? We will then have 3 to 4 presentation rooms. And so it'll all be on the bottom floor of EBH. Cool. Anything else?
Will our presentation room be like assigned?
Yes. The question is, will your room be assigned? Yeah, that's actually already in the works. So your email probably around the 16th or 17th, maybe even early, because our operations team's really on the ball this year. They're going to tell you what room you're in. They're going to tell you what time you actually are supposed to present at. They're going to tell you when they exactly want you there. Okay, so you will get all of that information from our Hawk Tank operations team. Great questions. Anything else? Okay, cool. Next. The business plan scoring is the exact same as round one. Nothing's changed. Okay? The points are the same. How we define these words are the same. So all the information you have will remain constant. We are doing the exact same norming of the judges for the finals judges that we do for the first round judges. Okay? So look at that scoring that we sent to you. Really look at any, if you feel you have some deficiencies, that's what you should focus on. Okay? That's what you should focus on. Now, we do have, as part of this, a presentation evaluation for you all. Now, as you may or may not know, this does not go into the scoring for the prizes. It doesn't. Okay? That's why you don't know about this. Because if it was going to, we would have told you about it. So why do we do this? There we go. Here we go. So why do we do this? So the reason why we do this is twofold. Number one, and probably most importantly, the reason why we do this is because we want to give you feedback from business and industry experts on your presenting style and how successful you are in terms of organizing, content, and communication skills. It's literally just feedback to make you better. And then second, so you know, is if there is a tiebreaker or the need for a tiebreaker, this is how we'll do it. Okay? This is how we'll do it. And this is it's just a handful of question, 5-point scale, and that's how we do it. Okay? Any questions, y'all? Okay. So, let's talk about your presentation. Let's go back. So when we think about sort of that evaluation, think about how are you introducing your idea, your product, your service. Are your points made clear? Is your presentation logically structured? Do you have effective transitions to go from one topic to the next topic? Is everything that you're discussing with the judges, is it relevant to your idea? And then lastly, are you within the time limit? So this is what the judges will give you feedback on for your presentation. So let's talk about evaluating content. Using clear language. Understanding that individuals in your room, once again, may not have your background. They may not have your level of expertise. And so if you have some really technical things, and there's very well there will be judges that will understand it and maybe in that industry, but be aware that you are going to have a breadth of judges with a breadth of expertise and a breadth of backgrounds. Okay? Make sure that the clear points are effectively explained. Understand your audience. Okay? I will send to everyone a list of who your judges are. I would recommend doing some research. Okay, understanding their background, maybe seeing a connection between them and your idea. Right? Leverage that. Okay? And use examples. Okay? Use examples. If you have experience in doing something, don't just say, I have experience in doing that. Say, I have experience in doing that, and give them an example of that. Okay? What you're trying to do, and this is how we're going to close the circle. Remember, what is a business plan for? A business plan is to secure financial resources. Why do we write them? Because we're trying to reduce uncertainty for individuals to make an investment in you. And these examples specific examples, really, this is what's going to reduce that uncertainty. Okay. Okay, some styles. For many of us, this is a tremendous learning experience, and I'm so excited to get you in front of strangers and judges and people you've never met. I really am. Okay? Because this skill is going to pay off in spades. Now, I want you to reflect on those great speeches and talks and teachers and professors you've had in the past. Okay? Religious leaders, individuals you love to listen to. They inspire you. What do they all have in common? What they have in common are these points. They understand how to engage an audience. Okay? How to set their tone. How to set their facial expressions. Okay? They're not leaning against things. They're not like hiding their mouth. They're not looking at the screen and talking to the screen. And I know I'm getting some laughs in here. Yeah, I get it. It's funny, but we've had participants do that as they're learning how to become better public speakers, right? And that's what we're all doing here. If you're interested in having handouts, fine. Okay, I highly recommend it. That's great. Not necessary. We've had lots of winners without handouts. But if you want to have that, have handouts for the judges and potentially have more handouts for the audience. Okay, that's always a nice little addition. If you have any sample products, bring them for the judges to see, something tangible. If you don't, that's also fine. Okay, totally fine. Anything that you think will help reduce that uncertainty, that will educate the judges and the audience about your opportunity, then please do it. And then lastly, answering audience questions, and really that's answering judges' questions, okay? Your next question, I'm sure, is, okay, Dr. Valdez, I'm hook, line, sinker. Can you give me just a little more guidance on maybe what I should talk about? So let's talk about the how, okay? How the heck are you going to do all this? There is nothing written in stone for Hawk Tank. You all can present any way you want, on anything you want, okay? At a bare minimum, what I would do is go check out the rubric. Okay, go check out that rubric, the same rubric that you did your business plan with. Because you know that's where your points are coming from. And that should drive your presentation. So, with that being said, let me give you a little bit more advice on that. Okay. Typically, participants use PowerPoint, right? Kind of like what we use for our Hawk Tank workshops. Awesome. If you want to use Prezi, fantastic. Okay. If you want to use some other software, awesome. It's great. We encourage it. If you want no visuals, you want to go old school and use flip charts and whiteboards, awesome. We've had teams at Place just do that, actually. Okay. Talked about handouts. Who should present? You all as team leaders should be the lead presenter and should be the lead voice. You can absolutely, I would recommend this, have your other team members there. Okay. But that is not a prereq. The only sort of requirement is that you as the team leader are the driver. Okay. Any questions on that, y'all? So, I would like to share just a little bit about this model that's been used quite a bit. And it's called the Kawasaki 10-20-30 model. And it's really sort of Guy Kawasaki. Anyone know who this guy is? This individual is? So this is the gentleman when Apple was looking to go public. This is the individual that went from venture capitalist to bank to venture capitalist to venture capitalist to pitch Apple to tell them, hey, you should buy this stock. And this is why. Okay. And so he came up with this 10-20-30 rule that we're going to kind of use, not directly, but more or less as a foundation, as a guide. So what is 10? 10 is 10 slides. Mr. Kawasaki said, do not do anything more than 10 slides. Okay. And that does not include your cover slide, your roadmap slide if you have one, or your thank you slide. But pretty much he's saying, listen, your audience and the human brain can only internalize about 10 things at a time. Anything more than that is just too much. It's going to be almost like, I don't know if you've ever watched the Peanuts episodes on television around the holiday, and all the adults, all they do is go, wah, 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 wah. That's pretty much what happens to your audience in the 30th or 40th minute. Okay. So 10 slides. Okay. What's the 20? The 20 is 20 minutes. Okay. 20 minutes is what he says is don't go over 20 minutes when you're presenting. You have 10 slides, 10 things to go over, and you get 20 minutes. Anything over 20 minutes, you're going to get glazed over eyes. They're going to be looking at their phone, thinking about what's for dinner. So, but guess what? We're going to actually force you to do less than 20 minutes. You get 15 for your presentation, and you get 5 for Q&A. And once again, these are maximums. There's no minimum. So please keep that in mind. And then lastly, what is 30? For Mr. Kawasaki, 30 is 30 font. And you're like, what? That's weird. Well, what he's saying here is that, and you'll see this on a slide, is that your presentation slides should be billboards. Think about driving on in the interstate and think about a billboard. How much content can they have on that billboard? Right? Can they have paragraphs? No, you're going to cause accidents or people just won't read it. So think about that. This should be a billboard, so 30 font. Some general recommendations, okay. Less is more. Let's go back to this concept of it should be a billboard, not a document. If you've had me as a student, you know I'm a big stickler for this. Your slides, right, really pay close attention to your formatting. Make sure your capitalization protocol is the same. Make sure the way you bullet points the same. Make sure that your spacing is the same. Make sure that your punctuation protocol is the same. These little things that you have total control over are a huge differentiator. And what I always like to tell my students is this. If you can't get the simple things right, the formatting of your presentation, the things that you have total control over, it's very difficult to convince someone that you can get the challenging things right or that you in fact got the challenging things right. So that's a big one. Anyone know what KISS means? KISS? Keep it simple, stupid. Okay? I don't like to use that word stupid. I've been trained by my mom not to use that word, but that's what KISS means. Okay? You might have seen these in like, there's like how to learn the guitar sort of thing. But keep it simple. Okay? Keep with them making that billboard. For the financial projections, I know a number of you are going to be working on this over the weekend for your Monday resubmission. We want to really think about those assumptions. There's a good chance that judges will ask you, how did you come up with your sales? How did you come up with your costs? And so really make sure those are well thought out and think about potential questions. Sean.
The 14th deadline, that is just for the business proposal and video submission, not the presentation.
Great question. So Sean's question was, do we have to get this submitted by the 14th, our presentation? No. Okay. I believe, and don't, I mean, I should have had this. I believe it's going to be that Friday. It's going to be your deadline, the 18th. Okay.
We have to submit it online?
You will submit your presentation online, but you'll have until the 18th. Okay. Your business plan and your video, if you want to update anything, has to be submitted by April 14th at 11:59. If it's those updates, and you'll have a completely different submission site, and the Hawk Tank operations team will meet out. We'll email you about this. But that's the deadline, because because let's say you don't submit anything, then we're just going to use your original, and that's what's going to be loaded on those computer on April 18th when you come to check out the rooms. Does that make sense, Sean? Okay, cool.
Wait. Why would it be shown on the 18th? Because it's our proposal in video.
Okay, so Sean, you have your business plan. Let's use the same words. Business plan, and you have your video. You've already submitted those, and you have until the 14th to make updates. Okay? Stop. Then you have your business plan presentation. That presentation is what you're going to present on the 19th. That is going to be due on the 18th. Okay? And then that presentation will be loaded on those computers prior. So most likely the deadline will be like whatever 4 o'clock on Friday, the 18th, and that gives the operations team 90 minutes to load them on the computer. So when you arrive, if you want to, you can look at that. Does that make sense? Okay, cool, awesome. Yeah, and if I was confusing, I apologize. I know sometimes I'm all over the place. So thanks, Sean. Keep me honest. I love it. Okay, cool. What else? I love the idea of anticipating questions. Now, you're not, I mean, I just say I would recommend not having, pictures of your financial model in your presentation. However, if you think they're going to ask you questions about your model, about your financials, what I would do is I would create a couple slides and put them at the end of your presentation after your question slide. You may never use them. But let's say during the Q&A session, the judges say, hey, I just don't really understand your costs. So then what you can do is you go, oh, you know what? I'm glad you asked me about that. Let me show you specifically how I came up with this. And then you go to those extra slides you had, and then you show the judges, right? That's going to reduce some uncertainty, right? You're going to be able to show them exactly what you were thinking. Awesome. Any other questions in here? Check my phone. Okay. So lastly, the idea is practice, practice, practice. Okay. Yes, your content is insanely important. Your business plan is insanely important. It is. But when we think about communicating to anyone, right? Communicating to the judges, practice will definitely differentiate you from the individuals that do not. Practicing the transitions, practicing your order of the slides, practicing your stories, practicing engaging with the audience. Have your friends out there. Have your friends ask you questions. Okay, great. And here's what I was taught. And this is Burley, y'all. The way I was taught was for every minute you're presenting, you should practice for an hour. So if we have a 15-minute presentation, you should be practicing almost 15 hours on that presentation. And think about that. Really think about that. Think about the quality of your presentation when you spend 15 hours on just practice. We're not talking about creating it. We're talking about practicing. Okay. I don't know. Just a thought. Okay. Now you're gonna get. I know it's a lot there. I didn't really want you to read it, so it's totally fine. I just want to reiterate. Please keep an eye out for Hawk Tank emails to guide you on how to submit your resubmission, to guide you on the April 18th event, to guide you on what to expect on April 19th. Okay, and not only just for your presenting, but also for the gala. Okay, we want you all to come and celebrate because you know how I feel about this. Just by submitting your business plan, you're a winner. Okay. We have right now. I'll give you one example. Right now we have 7 final presentations for Fort Lewis College. 7. That's down from 30 registered teams. Okay. Why? Because this is exceptionally hard to stay focused, to see this through. Okay, to juggle your busy life of classes, friends, family, work, church, community. Okay, honestly, I'm so freaking proud of all of you. Okay, so please keep an eye out for that email. Any final questions, Sean?
Can we simplify our business and how we convey it? Because the judges and everyone who is important that will be viewing our presentation has already read or a business proposal, right?
Okay, so the question is, can you kind of abbreviate your sort of presentation as opposed to going super deep
Yeah,
that you
that's-
have in your business plan? Well, the answer is you have to. You have no choice, Sean, because there's no way. Because I mean, your business plans are what? They're like, yeah, like with appendices and all these additions. Yeah, like it could be over 20 pages. And so there's just no way. And so you're gonna have to streamline it.
Yeah, I guess background information, like we don't need to give, I'll figure it out.
I mean, here's how I kind of see it playing out: is you should start out and say, what is the problem? Every presentation should start out that way. What is the problem you're trying to solve? The next thing should be, what is your secret sauce? What are you gonna do that nobody else is doing right now? Okay. The next thing should be, or you should probably have a slide about your team. Okay. You should probably have a slide about, hey, what do you think your sales are going to be? And show some of those high level projections. Show, hey, when are you going to make a profit? And it should not be Q1, y'all. I know we've already talked about this, because your first few months, you're just setting up your business. So talk about that. I think you should talk about milestones. What are the things you have to hit in order to move your company forward? Right? You know what I mean, y'all? Right, so these are the things, okay? What is the amount of money you need to make this work? Okay, do you need $100,000, $500,000, $1 million, $5,000? Tell the judges. And at the very end, judges, you gave me $10,000. I will make this a profitable business in 2 years, and I will make this company worth or this much in revenue in 5. Okay, that's what I think that should be included in that. And of course, you can't drill down. How are you going to enter the market? How are you going to educate? How are you going to make sure that they feel you have the best product or service? We talked about that sales channel. I think that would probably be of interest. How you're going to enter the market? Right there, y'all. That's your 10 slides. That's your 10 slides. That's all you got. And then you prepare for in-depth. But remember, provide specific examples. Don't leave it loosey-goosey or fuzzy. Okay? Because really what that's a signal of, it's a signal that, I'll actually say this, it's a potential signal of you don't know what you're talking about. Right? And let's take you, for example, Sean. You definitely know what you're talking about. You do this. You've done this. I mean, I would argue you're one of the global leaders in the industry you're talking about. So you know what I mean? Like, you have the chops to go deep, right? And of course, just so you know, Sean's in the alumni track. Okay, so if you're in the college track or high school track, don't freak out. You're not competing against Sean. But that's what I mean, Sean. Right? You can tell them horror stories. You can tell them pain stories. Right? You can. I know you can, because not everything works out perfectly, and you fix it, and you make it good, right? But you can tell those stories, and why you can, Sean, is because you're starting to do it, right? And that conversation with the judges, that connecting with the judges, so that resonates with them, that's what we're looking for. Does that make sense? Awesome. Great question. Okay. Anything else, y'all? Okay. Well, I'm going to sign off. This will be recorded. I will send this deck to everyone. Okay. If you want some more guidance on sort of what should be part of those 10 slides, please reach out to me. Send me an email. Okay. Let's set up a chat. Let's talk on Monday. Friday might be a little tough for me tomorrow, but let's chat. I don't mind mentoring you and guiding you. I'm not a judge. Okay. And you guys all know I love to help you, right? I just love it. So yeah, so reach out to me. I'll give you some more advice on exactly if you need some more advice. I definitely recommend, and this is just some of the mentoring, some of the sort of professional guidance is, come to me, not with just an open question. When you email me, you want my help, say, hey, Dr. Valdez, I'm thinking about having this as my information on my slides. Can we have a big chat? I'd like to just talk and make sure that I'm on the right page. That's how you ask for help. Okay? You don't ask for help by just saying, tell me what to do. Okay? I'll probably help you anyway because I'm a sucker. But when you think about reaching out for help, I mean, just think about some of that mentoring stuff we talked about before. But I want you to practice that behavior. Okay? Cool. Anything else, y'all? Okay, let me check my phone one more time for San Juan. Let's see. Okay, no, we're good. Okay, you know how to get a hold of me. Please email me anytime. I can't wait to see what you resubmit if you want to. Once again, no pressure to do that. And I am like just super excited about April 19th. Like it's such a cool day. And the judges are psyched. Our keynote speaker is excited. It's going to be a really cool event. Okay, good night, y'all. Thank you so much, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye bye.